So, the Crimson Hat. I don't know about this one, guys. Hey everyone, my name is Americ from TVequals.com and welcome to a brand new episode of the Mentalist Summer Reviews, which is a series in which I review older episodes of The Mentalist so we can spend this summer together. In today's episode, I review the Crimson Hat. And before I get into what worked and what didn't work, let's go over what the story was all about. In the Crimson Hat, it happened 6 months later, in which we find out that Patrick had gone essentially undercover to fake a breakdown so he could lure Red John in. And with the help of his team, he almost gets Red John, but he's foiled by the FBI agent Darcy. So, what worked in this episode? First thing that sort of worked in this episode, it's not so much what happened in this episode, but sort of my reaction to that moment. When I saw Lorelai kissing Patrick, I could literally feel the uproar of the fandom saying, "No! You stay away from him! You just don't touch him! He's not yours!" I could relate, guys. I could see where you're coming from. I could totally see that. Another really good moment was when after Lorelai essentially reveals herself and Jane closes the door and you see that smile, you're like, oh, you're up to something. That was pretty cool. After 6 months apart, Jane and Lisbon reunite in a church. Anybody think, hey, you guys are just a few steps away from the altar, just walk on there. Make it happen, make it official. It was really good to see the banter between these two in the church, especially when Jane is trying to convince Lisbon that he was faking this whole thing and he's asking for her help. And you can see that she's happy and brokenhearted at the same time. Robin Tunney, again, did a masterful performance because every word she says, she means the exact opposite. When she says you're a jerk, when she says I hate you, God I hate you, everything opposite. So when she says you're a jerk, she means you're awesome. When she says I hate you, she means I love you. Am I reading too much into this? I hope I'm not. When Jane goes to shoot Lisbon for the plan, what does he say? What does he say? I love you. Bruno Heller, who just happens to have written this episode, strikes again with this very confusing moment. Because on one hand, you're like, yes, he said it. And then the next moment, it's like, oh, I was hyped up. I said things. Make up your mind, man. Which is it? Do you love her or don't you? If you're gonna say something, mean it. But it was still an awesome moment. And finally, the moment at the end where Lisbon goes and sits down with Jane, who was just bummed out because Red John wasn't there, and holds his hand. That was a great moment in the episode. I wish the episode had ended there. Now, on to what didn't work. You must be curious. Look, as much as I enjoyed this episode, there are quite a few things that just really bothered me. Problem number one, the case at the beginning of the episode where the team goes and they're looking into this guy who had this shotgun blast on his face and they're trying to look into it. And really the entire case was just designed to provide a reason for them to use the body for the staging the whole Red John ruse. Now here's the thing, you could have had the exact same thing happen in just a line of dialogue. Let me demonstrate. Grace walks in the room, tells Lisbon, hey boss, you know that guy we found near the dumpster with his head blown off? Turns out it was just a suicide. We caught the guy. The body's in the morgue. Done. Also, how did Jane find Lisbon in the church? Your guess is as good as mine because Jane was in Las Vegas, Lisbon was in Sacramento, which is 8 hours away driving distance. So Jane, as good as he is, would have had to figure it out where Lisbon was, drive all the way from Las Vegas to Sacramento, and to have that entire conversation. So, good moment, not really easy to explain. Also, Agent Darcy, bravo! What an unbelievable special agent! A special agent who manages to have an arrest warrant for the entire CBI team for... Oh, no, I'm serious, I don't know. For what? I'm not sure. For a ruse? For pretending to kill an agent? What was the exact reason why the FBI arrested this CBI agent? I'm not quite sure. Well, her reasoning was this looks really strange. And you know what? I'm not even done with my rant. The FBI found the team when they were staking out Red John. And I'd like to know, how did they do that? Seriously, how did they find out where their team was? It's not like they called to check in. They were doing this on the down low. So I really am curious to see, how did the FBI find out where they were? So as you can tell, guys, I wasn't a big fan of this episode, not because it didn't have good moments, it did, but fundamentally because it had so many inconsistencies that I just had a tough time enjoying the whole thing. It's like going to a restaurant and having a good meal, but the service wasn't that great, and the music was a little bit too loud, and you don't even like the music. So the food was good, but the rest around it was not so good. So that's how I felt about the episode. But enough about me, guys. What did you think of the episode? Comment below and let me know. What did you like about this episode? What didn't you like about this episode? Tell me everything. Anyways, guys, that's all for me today. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe so you can enjoy more reviews and more great TV content. Speaking of TV content, make sure to visit TVequals.com to check out our coverage of all things TV. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye. So guys, only 2 more episodes in our Mentalist Summer Reviews. Next up, Devil's Cherry Season 5, Episode 2. See you next time.